Okay, good afternoon. My name is Samuel Martinez, and we are going to talk about today with my classmates Sara and Tanya about our topic that was the Renaissance versus the modern world. And we are going to talk about the many differences that we have in those two periods, and we are going to talk about how the life changed between those time lapse. Okay, so we are going to start right here in the index. We are going to talk about first a quickly contextualization of the Renaissance and the topics that we are going to explain in this exposition. We are going to talk about similarities and difference between both of those time lapses. We are going to talk about many famous things like paintings, like traditions, like books that we today think that are very important to the society. We are going to talk about many historical events, the traditions, the cultural traditions that made an impact in Europe at this age, and we finally going to make and say many conclusions that we have into that topic.
Contextualization of the Renaissance. I was a culture and artists moment that make the transition from the Middle Age to the modern age originating in Italy at the end of the 14th century and spreading throughout Europe, Europe during the 15th and 16th century. I was characterized by a return to Greco-Roman classic culture. Humanists focus on the human being and reason, and major advancement in in science, art, and literature, driven by mindset of curiosity and experimentation. Contextualization of the Renaissance. What was it? The Renaissance was a cultural moment of great importance in the history of the Western world. Though it replaced the Christian God with the human being and prioritized reason over faith, thanks to the influence of human science. At the make the beginning of the modern world and introduced new inventions and scientific discoveries, art and literature. In revived an aesthetic, aesthetic and philosophical values of classical antiquity. The Renaissance and the modern world. The Renaissance it prioritized classic human and human reason. The modern world it characterized by humans in a technological context, where digital tools and artificial intelligence have democratized access to knowledge. They, they share of foundation of technical and intellectual progress, resilience, and creativity after periods of crisis. But they differ in their focus on human and technology.
Similarities between the Renaissance and the modern world. Resilience and adaptability. The abilities of resilience and flexibility are crucial in both eras as they allow people to navigate constantly changing environments, progress and crisis. Both historical periods combine major technical and intellectual advancement after going through a deep economic and social crisis. Creativity and initiative, creativity and originality, central values of the Renaissance, continue to be essential for innovation in the modern world. Difference between the Renaissance and today world. Humanism. The Renaissance replaced medieval theocentrism with humanist focus on reason and human beings today. This humanism continues through ethical debates and the integration of technology into everyday life. Art. Renaissance art prioritized perfection at classic harmony with modern and emphasis, emotion, individuality, and creative freedom. Technology. The Renaissance praised democracy, Konov and paved the way for digital art. Today, artificial intelligence, data, and cybersecurity are the main drivers of transformation. Economy during the Renaissance, mercantilism dominated, whereas today the global economy is driven by technology, globalization, and digital transactions. Famous, famous works of art from this period. La Gioconda, the Leonardo da Vinci, 1503 to 1519. Madonna del Cardellino, Rafael Sanzio, and 1506. Ritratto Giovanni de Sandro Botelli, 1483.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk about three famous books from this period. The first one is The Prince. It was written by Nicolas Machiavelli about 1613, and it talks about uh, on how a ruler can make or can maintain the power, and it defends the idea that the security of the state is the ultimate goal, and the morally or cruel actions or ambiguous actions may be necessary to achieve it, to put a control on the people, the society. Next one is called Don Quixote de la Mancha. It was written by Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra. It has two editions with two parts. First one at 1605 and the next one at 1615. It talks about many imaginary adventures of Alonso Quijano. And when he decides to become a knight, he makes it under the name of Don Quixote de la Mancha. He recruits Sancho Panza, and they start to have many crazy adventures, fighting with monsters and imaginary problems to save ladies and to save their own lives. And the third one is called Utopia. It was written by Thomas More at 1516, and it talks about a, a famous and a hypothetical place that it's an island called Utopia, and it talks how the politicians, the 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 people can live better when they live in a paradise place. Yeah, when the governance work together with the people, with the town, with the society, and life is perfect in the island of Utopia. No problems with the resource, no problems with the money, with corruption, anything like that. Now, I want to talk about many traditions, the daily life of the people at the Renaissance. And the people used to uh, had a small, no, how can I say? Okay, no. The people used to go to music festivals, the theater, dance tournaments, and the religion was uh, very stronger at this period of time. The religion had a great impact in that period because the church, the Catholic, the Christian church, used to control the people using the Bible, the God symbols, and that stuff. At this period, it was it was an important event that was the discovery of America at 1492 by Cristobal Colon. Uh, he arrived to a Caribbean island and start to collect our gold and our ladies and carry them to Spain. Um, the people at this period uh, practice courtesy and the imagination, the creativity was very important at this period because it was like a bright in your imagination. It was like I don't know how to say it. It was like a relation that the world has to change and it cannot be more at the dark. Um, the food diet was based on bread, wine, meats, soups, vegetables, fruit, and cheese. And the clothing of the people include long dresses, corsets, and the men capes, white sleeves, and silk or velvet outfits. And uh, the people at this period was afraid because I said, I just said, the people was afraid because the church and the politicians was uh, making a disaster in the society. And that's the reason why many uh, artists, many writers, and many communities start to think out of the box.
There is a lot of meat, game, chicken, pork, used many expensive space and at sweet dessert with sugar. They there buy parties with fancy dishes. The poor add simple and cheap things. Their main food was dark bread, vegetable soups, and sometimes a little chicken. They add many chestnuts to fill their stomach.
Okay, so here we have a representation of the art that arrived to our modern society, and all of these one uh, paintings and books was made at the Renaissance period. Okay, so in conclusion, we can say that it was a period of history, an European cultural movement, and it marked a lot the transitions from the Middle Age to the modernity, and it was uh, characterized by an effort to revive and surpass the ideas and the different achievements of the classical antiquity. It had a great social change, like uh, in fields of the art, the architecture, the politics, science, the literature, uh, and it had a great impact in our actual society. So the conclusion always going to be think out of the box. Had a bigger perspective of the things, because if you start with a great thing, the people is going to make it too, and you can influence the way that the other people can learn, can innovate, and can create many things that would make an impact at the future of our society.
We prepared a brochure that compares the Renaissance with the modern world, showing how important aspects of life have changed over time. It analyzes topics such as food, traditions, education, art, and culture, as well as historical events and the most representative figures of each era. They, the is to understand what society was like during the Renaissance and how it has evolved to reach the diversity, technology, and globalization of the modern world.